We can't keep having elections that nobody can live with, and we can't have this level of fraud anymore.
Understanding that every Republican leader in Washington says that Joe Biden is the legitimate president, everyone. But I understand what you're running on. But
they're sitting there in Washington. They're sitting there in Washington.
Understood.
They're not here in Arizona.
This is what you're running on. I get it.
Journalists to come out here and dig through this.
Let me just ask you one thing. Obviously, as a candidate, you come under scrutiny. The Washington Post has a story today. It says Arizona GOP candidate who criticized drag queens was once a fan, according to a drag queen. This is the quote. Arizona GOP gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake, who has attacked drag queens as dangerous to children, attended the shows of drag queen Richard Stevens for more than 20 years and once hired him to perform at her home. Do you care to address that?
I do care. I actually do care to address that, and I'm really shocked. I'm actually appalled that Fox News would take a defamatory story like that, and we are pursuing legal action against this drag queen. I'm appalled that you would bring that up when you have not talked about our stolen election. You've failed to talk about that. We just spent 3
questions, Ms. Lake, talking about this. I just asked you a number of questions about it. I played the Arizona House Speaker.
This is the first of it.
Let's address this story that's in the Washington Post. Every candidate takes tough stories. I'm asking you to respond to it if you'd like to.
I'm happy to address it, but I'm really disappointed in Fox. I thought you were a little better than CNN. This is a person who I covered for decades, 20 years, and he's never been in my home. He says he's been in my home for a drag show. That's ludicrous. He's never been in my home. He's lied. We tried to serve him defamation papers, and he's so shady that we can't even track him down because he's not even welcome at the places that he works.
I'm sorry, but this is the last question I'm going to ask. What about these pictures of you with him, Richard Stevens?
Brett,
and what about the Post? I've performed for Kari's birthday. I've performed in her home.
That's not true.
I've performed for her at some of the seediest bars in Phoenix. I don't want to ask these questions. I asked you to address them. I
think you do want to ask them, but you don't want to ask about 2,000 Mules. I think you do want to ask about this. This is absolutely ludicrous. I'm talking about drag shows in schools. This is what triggered this man. Somebody who goes to a drag show with female impersonators is one thing. We don't want our tax money going into drag shows at school.
Okay, I understand what you're making a difference there, but you're saying his allegations are wrong, is what you're saying.
Yes, I am. And I'm really appalled that you would spend time on a false story like that. It's shocking.
Well, I think it's important to have candidates address things that are coming up that might affect a race.
Truly.
And I thought you would appreciate that.
But you didn't ask my opponent, the establishment opponent who was here last week. You didn't ask her about her votes to allow illegal alien students to get a lower tuition than American students. You didn't ask her about the 70+ times that she raised tuition on American students. You didn't ask her any tough questions.
That's not true.
You have me on, and you try to bring a defamatory story out. It's really sad. I thought there was hope.
I really appreciate your time. We thought we'd address all issues that are on the table. That is one of them being covered today. We thank you, and we'll cover the primary August 2nd.
Please send reporters out to cover this corrupt election. We would appreciate it.
Thank you. Up next, the panel.